President Muhammadu Buhari has unveiled the new identity and logo for for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, which is now a limited company. Hello and welcome back to Newsroom Nigeria. This is where we give you hot, fresh, and sizzling news all day long. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Join this amazing community we have here. Most importantly, click on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we post a new video. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the details of today's news. President Muhammadu Buhari has unveiled the new identity and logo for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, which is now a limited liability company. The new identity has transformed the NNPC Limited into a commercially driven and independent entity with the responsibility to declare dividends to its stakeholders. Buhari expressed delight he had consistently had the opportunity to shape the course of the petroleum industry in the country. He thanked the National Assembly for facilitating the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, which had been in the works over different administrations but only came to reality during the current dispensation. The motto of the new logo unveiled by the president reads, NNPC Energy for Today, Energy for Tomorrow. Are you one of those who are curious? What does this mean for the economy? What does this mean? Does this mean that the pump price is going to increase? Does this mean that NNPC has the right to increase and decrease as it pleases? Well, let me give you more details and insights about what the Petroleum Industry Act implies. Now, earlier this year, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, bringing to a close a 20-year effort to reform Nigeria's oil and gas sector with the aim of creating an environment more conducive for growth of the sector and addressing legitimate grievances of communities most impacted by extractive industries. A lot has changed in the sector domestically and globally since the reform efforts began. The number of industrious oil and gas firms has grown, but so has the number of oil-producing countries in the region. Militancy in oil-rich communities, while remaining, has diminished. Concerns over climate change has fueled aggressive efforts to reduce global consumption of fossil fuels, driving divestment from oil and gas by companies, institutions, and countries. The PIA represents an effort by Africa's leading oil-producing country to respond to this changing environment. In 2019, the oil and gas sector accounted for about 5.8% of Nigerians' real GDP and was responsible for 95% of Nigerians' foreign exchange earnings and 80% of its budget revenues. In addition, because the law is far-reaching in its remit, it is complex and not easy to summarize. If properly and vigorously implemented, the PIA can represent the gold standard of natural resource management with clear and separate roles for the subsectors of the industry. The existence of a commercially oriented and profit-driven national petroleum company, the codification of transparency, good governance, and accountability in the administration of the petroleum resources of Nigeria, the economy and social development of host communities, environmental remediation, and a business environment conducive for oil and gas operations to thrive in the country. However, these results are conditional on Nigerians' political and oil industry leaders overcoming some key challenges that are discussed following the summary of the key provisions of the Act. The Petroleum Industry Act overhauls the regulation and governance of the oil and gas industry. The law provides for two regulatory agencies, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) and the Nigerian Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that will be responsible for the technical and commercial regulation of petroleum operations in their respective sectors and have the power to acquire, hold, and dispose of property, as well as sue and be sued in their own name. The law commercializes the perennially loss-making state-owned enterprise, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC), turning it into the Nnpc Ltd, a quasi-commercial entity, the ownership of which shares shall be vested with the government, and in ministries of finance and petroleum shall hold the shares on behalf of the government per the PIA. The President of Nigeria will appoint the President of NNPC Ltd, as well as heads and members of the regulatory agencies. Separately, the Minister of Petroleum then will head the industry with a wide range of powers to formulate, monitor, and administer government policy under the PIA. Importantly, the PIA provides that 30% of the profit of the Nnpc Ltd will fund a new entity to finance exploration in other basins in the country, Frontier Exploration Fund. 10% of rent on petroleum prospecting licenses and 10% of rent on petroleum mining leases are also assigned to Frontier Exploration. The Act is unclear on whether there will continue to be exploration in existing basins. Just hope that the new Petroleum Industry Act doesn't create more problems for Nigerians and doesn't make the country harder than it is for normal average Nigerians in the country. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't. Give this video a very big thumbs up. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.